All right. Good morning to everybody around the world right now. So we are tapped in right now. Let's start this off in just a second here. Let's see here. So we got some interesting topics that we're going to talk about today. Obviously, there's this ongoing contention going on with Dana White and Turki El-Sheikh. Drizzy Goat says, "You sleeping on my bro, Olberg. He, my boy, he said he's going to knock out Dom out, I believe, in round 2 or 3. Well, I tell you what, man. I feel like there's this new resurgence going on in the career of Dominic Reyes right now. Although I know Carlos Ulberg is a top prospect, right now I think you could argue that probably Carlos Ulberg is the best fighter in city kickboxing right now, right? Like, I don't think too many people are going to argue that. I mean, obviously, Izzy is sort of falling off. Oops. Izzy has been falling off since the Imavov fight, and as a result of that, somebody had to come and take over the top spot. So Drizzy Goat says that's fair. We will see, but I'm team Black Jag. Is that team Black Jag? Is that his nickname? Carlos Ulberg, Drizzy. Some of my friends agree with you. Hate Love says, yeah. I believe that Carlos Ulberg is the favorite going on here. So Marty Miller says, good morning. Shout out to you. Hate Love says, salam, bro. He says, no worries. Thank you, brother. Okay, so that is the intro right now. So let's start this intro off right here. Stream starts. Okay, so there we go. That's so other topics that we're going to talk about, right? Obviously, it was been brought to my attention from Marty about well, I forgot the guy's name, Big Country or something like that, a video we were reacting to last time. Obviously, I couldn't go into full details about it, only because I had something to do in that particular moment. Otherwise, I would have probably stayed a little bit longer in terms of in terms of the stream, right? But I had to leave. I had to leave a little sooner, so we didn't get much details on it. I did see the video though, and it's come to my attention that maybe perhaps there's this how do I say this? There's something ongoing here with Charlie potentially getting shot from behind rather than the front. So those are some interesting developments that are going on in this story, right? And look, I gotta tell you, this is becoming a new JFK, which is weird to say considering the fact that Charlie Kirk never served in public office or anything like that. But the story is interesting to say the least, right? And also, very much a high interest to a lot of people right now. So the other topic we're going to talk about, obviously, is Ronda Rousey potentially returning to mixed martial arts. Now, is there any truth behind that? Is Ronda Rousey actually going to come back to MMA or come back to the UFC in particular? And if so, is she going to come back at the UFC White House card? Well, I tell you what, the answer to that is no. I don't think that she's going to come back to the White House card. However, it doesn't mean that she's not going to come back, period. I think that she will come back, just not at the White House card, and let me tell you why. Okay, I think one of the reasons why she's not going to go into the White House card is for political reasons. She hates Donald Trump, and Donald Trump made glee of her loss 10 years ago in Australia, which, by the way, brings us to our topic at hand of this week's fights with Dominic Reyes and Carlos Ulberg. So Drizzy says some of my Hate Love says Ronda Rousey, the only woman I say is a man amongst women, as is without a doubt one of the baddest women to do it. I know most people don't like her, but she is my GOAT. Okay, so Truth Seeker says, I think Reyes is going to get another title shot. Oh, yeah. After a win from this guy, I think that, you know, it's safe to say that he'll probably get a shot. Drizzy Goat says, Ronda is absolutely garbage. She's a terrible human being. Amanda Nunes messed her ish up. Okay, there's some arguments to that. There's a lot of people that do find Ronda Rousey a bit reprehensible, a bit insufferable. So you're not too far off from that. Truth Seeker says, well, hate love. The words of Brendan Schaub, I beg to differ. Wow, okay. Marty throwing some Brendan Schaub references here. Now, is that in reference to the fact that they have dated before? Is that what you are, you know, sort of hinting at, right? As sort of a pun. Or did you just bring Brendan Schaub out of nowhere? Oh, did you also know that Brendan Schaub dated Ronda Rousey, right? So I wonder if that has any, you know, correlation to that. Drizzy Goat says, I do not like Ronda Rousey. Hate love with the SpongeBob emoji. Drizzy Goat says, she's a sore loser. Okay. Truth Seeker says, beg the differ B. Drizzy Goat says, at least McGregor was humble in defeat. Now, here's the thing. I don't know about all that, Drizzy Goat. Humble in defeat, in what way and in what capacity when you got him laying down on the ground with his leg busted up from Dustin Poirier, pointing at Dustin Poirier, hinting that he's going to shoot him, right? I don't know if that's, you know, considered humble or anything like that. I mean, or humble in defeat. I will say the early McGregor from 2016 on, I think does have something to do with that. Harsh Singh says, sir, don't mind me, but please shave the beard or grow a mustache. Singh, you live in India, right? You probably have lived around Muslims and this and that. Like, I think you know why. Okay, I have no mustache. I think you know why. I subbed. Shout out to you, Mr. Singh. Shout out to you, my man. Truth Seeker says, yeah, once again, I beg to differ, Drizzy. Keegan says, what's the Turkey's big news that Dana was supposed to announce? Well, that right there correlates to this whole entire story, Keegan. Now, when Turki El-Sheikh said after the Terrence Crawford Canelo press conference, he says, Dana White has announcement to everybody. And the next thing you know, Dana White snubs it off, whispers something to Turki El-Sheikh, and I'm going to give you my analysis on that particular issue, right, or that particular incident. And my speculation goes as this. I think that there is a big fight that Turki El-Sheikh and Dana White want to announce, but it is Dana White that wants to hold off on announcing these things. Now, look, Turki is very impulsive, right? And rightfully so. He feels that he's the most powerful man in the world, and who is to doubt him? He says, oh, my bad, you're Muslim. I respect that, sir. Shout out to you. Drizzy Goat says he's more of a comedian than a fighter these days. Yes, yes. Hate Love says that's true. Amanda got her, but I followed Ronda from MMA to the WBE, and hopefully now she returns, but at the White House card. She's not going to return at the White House card simply because of who the president is. She has beef with Donald Trump because Donald Trump, right before he became president, slagged her off, made fun of her for getting knocked out by Holly, and he basically said, she's not a very nice person. Not a very nice person. So if you think that Ronda Rousey is a horrible person, you know, then he'll agree with you on that. But going back to Turki, yes. So he's a very impulsive person, right? He wants to bring out the big guns straight away, right? He wants to tell people, well, you know what, this is what's happening or this and that. Dana White has been impulsive over the years, but now Dana White has become a lot more methodical in the way that he promotes. Harsh Singh says Canelo looked weak in that fight. I wouldn't say that he looked weak. I would say that he just faced a better level of competition. Hate Love says, I don't have a stash, only a beard, as it should be. Yes, yes, that's right. That's right, Hate Love. Shout out to you. Hate Love says, Harish, I was disappointed at the Canelo performance. Too old, maybe. Truth Seeker says, I agree with Harsh. I think he was either injured or setting himself up for a big rematch. Nah, I don't know about that, man. You know, especially not a rematch, right? These guys are highly competitive. I don't think their mind is set on, all right, if I lose this one, I can come back for, you know, an even bigger payday for a rematch. I don't think that's how any of this works, at least not in the mind of people who are, you know, highly elite, right? So, let's see here. Harish says, I was, okay, Truth Seeker says, I agree with Harsh. I think he was either injured or setting himself up for a big rematch. Okay, so Harsh says, yeah, maybe the age factor, but man, he looked weak. I just think Terrence Crawford made him look weak. It's just really that simple, maybe. Hate Love says, I meant not on the White House card. I'm with Ronda F. Trump. Okay, so Truth Seeker says, yeah, but 300 million might change how you look at things. LOL. Yeah, you know what? That's true. That's true, right? 300 million does change a whole different perspective, but keep this in perspective too, right? Canelo is already rich. He can retire right off into the sunset, right? Like that is the trajectory that he is at right now. Now, why is it that he has decided not to do that? Well, the reason why he has decided not to do that is because he has a high competitive edge about him, to which makes him want to come back and fight some more and test himself out to new challengers. Then there's Benavidez, then there's Terrence Crawford, so on and so forth, right? Now, this idea that people say, oh, he's trying to duck somebody or this and that, I just think that he's waiting for everybody to get their turn, right? Like boxing is not like MMA, or certainly not like amateur wrestling where we can all fight each other in the same weekend, right? For those of you that have wrestled in the American school system, you know what I'm talking about, right? You can, especially in a tournament, right, where you're in a state tournament or in a national tournament, and all of a sudden you're facing 4 or 5 of the best guys in the world, right? So when you are in amateur wrestling tournaments, you are especially at the high level, right? You're taking on the equivalent of the Canelos, the Benavidez, the Dmitry Bivol, the Arthur Beterbievs of the world, right? Marty says, good point. Harsh says, would love to see Nunes in the White House event. Yeah, I think that is in the works. If she does beat Kayla Harrison, that could be. Truth Seeker says, did you guys see the Jake versus Tank press conference? No, we haven't. Let's watch that right now. Let's watch the press conference for Jake versus Tank real quick. Let's check out that one. See what's going on in that one. Okay. So let's see. Hate Love says, Drizzy Goat, I think Tank, but I'm actually rooting for Jake. Still don't know. He is Muslim, alhamdulillah. Who is? Are you talking about Abdul, which, by the way, is the Muslim name now of Tank Davis? So Truth Seeker says, and the vibe kind of felt like he was going to go against the contract and fight him for real if Jake wasn't careful. Hate Love says, I am Muslim and so is Kyrie. Yeah, I think Zafar, I'm not sure if he was referring to me or maybe he was referring to Gervonta Tank Davis. Andrew Tate is Muslim too. Yes, he is. Yes. Yes, that is why, if you notice, I'm kind of very careful of what I say about Andrew Tate, right? Because, you know, by the end of the day, he is a Muslim brother, so I have to show him that kind of respect. Andrew Tate is a kickboxing champion. Sure he is. Drizzy Goat says, nah, Andrew Tate ain't Muslim. Well, Drizzy Goat, explain to me what that is. He says that he's a fake Muslim. Truth Seeker says, I just heard Tristan Tate say he was a Christian. Yes, so both of them were Christians. Tristan is still a Christian, and it is Andrew Tate who has converted full-heartedly. Okay, let's get to the press conference between Tank and Jake. Let's hear this out in its entirety. Okay, gotcha. Yes. All right, here we go.
Independent commission led by citizens. Prop 50.
Drizzy Goat says, I've heard some the shit Andrew Tate says he's a bit of a douche. Well, I tell you what, right? I think that's just part of the game. That's part of, you know, trying to garner attention online, I would say. But, yeah.
Keep California a leader for reform. Vote no on 50.
You found your dream engagement ring at Chain Company. Now we'll protect it with our all-inclusive free lifetime warranty.
Alright, here we go.
I remember 4 years ago, we did the fight when you beat Tyron Woodley. You had a post, and you had a hit list. On that hit list was Gervonta Davis. Can you believe we are at this point now, and you...
So this fight is set to take place on November 14th. By the way, one day before the Chris Eubank versus Conor Benn rematch. Drizzy Goat says, I like him, but I didn't like how he stuck up for Charlie Kirk. Oh, okay, you're talking about Andrew Tate. Yeah, that's kind of on brand with Andrew Tate to do that, honestly. Like, Andrew Tate, like, I know Truth Seeker calls me the race whisperer, right? Andrew Tate is also a race whisperer. If you think about it, Andrew Tate has a fan base of Muslims, obviously. Those are the new fan base that he has are Muslims. He has right-wing white boys, okay, from the Midwest or to the South, and then, you know, conservatives in Europe. But he also has the urban hip-hop crowd, right? Because obviously there's a lot of, well, let me just say this, right? I just think that in the urban culture, a lot of people are taught to be simps, and as a result of that, Andrew Tate became the counter-narrative culture in that notion. Janelle Watson says, hi, hey, how are you? Welcome. I think this is your first time here. Let me know what part of the world you are at. What the hell did I just stumble upon? Chase says. Well, what you stumbled upon right now is an MMA channel, geopolitics, and street politics all rolled into one. So I hope that, yeah, the Truth Tellers channel, there it is, right? It's a Truth Tellers channel. Ghost of Diddy. How about this, man? Ghost of Diddy. Man, let me guess. You're probably the same guy that came up with Charlie Kirk's Ghost screen name, right? Zafir says, I like Andrew Tate's mentality. Yeah, man, he's a sort of a man's man type of mentality, although a little bit over the top, right? But I get it. You know, it is in the realm of entertainment, so I sort of understand and get what it is that he is trying to convey here. So
You've got a fight now with Gervonta Davis.
Yeah, absolutely. Manifestation is everything. I knew we would be here. Before we start more, I want to take a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk and his family, Erica Kirk, real heroes of America. I want to take a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Rest in peace, Charlie. He means the world to the United States, and his legacy lives on today. But yeah, I knew we'd be here.
Jake Paul probably never watched a Charlie Kirk video in his life until the unfortunate incident happened. That's what I think, right? Let me know if you think that Jake Paul has ever watched a Charlie Kirk video ever in his life. But in any regard, yeah, let's go.
Fighting Gervonta. I've predicted everything in my career and just made it all come true.
Tank, same question. Can you believe this is happening and you're about to get into the ring with Jake Paul?
I'm definitely excited. You know, I think it's going to be good. You know, he been in the gym and he been boxing for a little minute now, so he been taking it serious. So we just got to see what.
Ghost of Diddy says, after 100 years, I had broken out of prison. OD says, almost no one knew who Charlie Kirk was. Unless, of course, you were in that realm of, you know, political discourse and political debates, right-wing politics, and, you know, things of that certain algorithm, right? But yeah. Truth Seeker says Jake is turning boxing into WWE. I tell you what, this is a very strange matchup. I'm not going to lie. This matchup is rather strange. It kind of gives me UFC 1 vibes, where they didn't really have a specific weight class to any degree. More like boxing into Disney. Well, there it is, right? Jake Paul was a Disney character or a Disney employee at some point, right? Where he worked for, I believe, Disney, where he did a show, right? Very similar to that of the sitcoms that they've done for Disney. Drizzy Goat says, I think Tank don't like Jake and will stop him. So you think Tank will actually stop Jake Paul? Okay. Now, worth noting, this fight is a real sanctioned fight. Okay? Like, meaning it's going under record. So, Josh says, what is the Turkey Dana beef? So what it is the beef between Turkey and Dana is that Dana White is used to being in control. All of a sudden, he comes in to this TKO event, which, by the way, is still sponsored by the WWE and the UFC, all rolled into one. Now, the only difference is that he is not in control in the way that he's used to. You see, what you got out of Turkey and Dana is nothing more than two alpha males, right? Two guys that have serious amounts of power. Now, look, Turkey and Dana are very much similar. I'm going to tell you why they're very similar. Think about this, right? Dana has powerful political friends. Turki El-Sheikh has powerful political friends. And here's the thing about Turkey. He's not a member of the royal family. Okay, that's the biggest misconception a lot of people have. They think that Turki El-Sheikh is part of the Al Saud lineage, which, by the way, is what Saudi Arabia is named after, hence the name Saud or Saudi Arabia, right? He's not a member of the royal family, and Dana White was not a member of the Fertitta family. He's not a member of the Trump family. He's not a political figure. He just has powerful friends that put him in powers of position. Now, does that sound familiar with Turki El-Sheikh? That's Turki El-Sheikh in a nutshell. So when you have these two elements and you have these two guys clashing with each other, what you get is nothing more than two bulls going at it, especially with differences of opinion. All right, so let's read some. Zafir says, do you know Ibu Islam, Turkish UFC fighter? Oh, yeah, of course. Poetan says, Ibu Aslan is weak. He lost. Zafir says, yeah, but he will make a comeback for sure. Ja says, what was said? How do we know there is beef? Well, I tell you what, it's based on body language, Ja. You look at Dana White, he did not look very happy at the Canelo Crawford fight. He felt like he just wanted to get it over with. And I think there's a lot going on there. At the press conference, he said something to the effect of, Dana White has announcement to everybody. And the next thing you know, there's Dana White whispering something to Turki El-Sheikh's ear. My speculation on that is telling him, hey, slow down. Let's not reveal anything yet. Let's build this up, whatever that may be. That could have been the John Jones and Tom Aspinall fight, perhaps, or maybe the winner between the winner between Gane and Tom Aspinall headed to the White House. Who knows? But he certainly did not want to reveal whatever it is that Turkey was willing to reveal in that moment of time. So Poetan says, I hope so too. I am Albanian. I love Turkey. Hate love says, Drizzy problems is if Tank KOs Jake or wins, Jake will sue him. It's in the contract. Jake Paul, Logan Paul, KSI, YouTube boxers. Well, here's the thing, Hate Love. This fight is actually going to be contested in pro bout rules, meaning that it goes on their record. So whatever undefeated record Gervonta Davis has, it's going to be put on the line, and he could potentially lose his O in this one. Same thing with Jake, obviously, right? He could, obtain a loss from Gervonta Davis. Now, equally humiliating to the fact that Gervonta Davis is a smaller guy, and Jake Paul is a heavyweight. Jake Paul is a legitimate heavyweight, at least cruiserweight at best, right? Heavyweight that cuts down to cruiserweight at best. Okay, some Turkish right there. I can't read Turkish. You're gonna have to you're gonna me just so you know, because obviously it's not a language that I understand. So I just want to make sure that he's not saying anything that would you know, compromise, because obviously YouTube not only violates in the English language, it violates in all other languages. So in that turn, YouTube has very inclusive rules when it comes to language expression. Drizzy Goat says, hate love, true. Asking as Tank lands some good shots. No way Jake beats him though. Okay. Okay, so more Turkish language here. All right, man. TKO. Shout out to TKO right here. Oi, oi, I Giza. My fellow, well, what I was gonna say, my fellow Englishman. I'm not English, but I am an honorary British guy. You know, thanks to Zain Musa Boxing. But yeah, man, shout outs to my English homie right here, TKO. Hate Love says, Driz, exactly. Jake only wins if it's rigged, especially against Tank. Yeah, I don't know about the whole rigged part, man. You know, we're let's see here. Truth Seeker says, wait till you see the press conference. So Tank kind of alludes to the fact that there's a stipulation to fight. Wow. Okay, let's mark that one. I'm gonna mark that comment right there by Marty. That's an important comment to mark right there. Ja says, I think Jake is too big for him. My thoughts exactly, Ja. Powhatan with Turkish Hate Love says, oh, I did not know that, Kyrie. So is this a real fight? I respect it more now. I want to watch it. Yeah, it is. It's not an exhibition. And Nikisa, the promoter of MVP, has vehemently admitted that, right? It is not in any capacity an exhibition fight like the Mike Tyson fight was. F15 says, damn, how is Jake a heavyweight? He looks like a welterweight. Yeah, Jake is a big boy, man. You know, Jake walks around like 190, you know, maybe even 210 if he's not fighting. He's a big guy, very big guy. He's 6'1", so he's a little bit taller, so there is a chance that he's going to look slim at a 190-pound frame, right? You know, I'm 6 feet tall. I weigh around, you know, 200 to 190 pounds. So, you know, in certain frames, you know, I look like I'm a welterweight as well. In fact, I fought at welterweight in MMA and in kickboxing. So, but I am as big as Jake Paul is, and Jake Paul is, you know, he's, well, is that what you're considering Jake Paul? Hate Love says, only way Jake can win is by a smaller guy with Tank. They are so diluted, in my opinion. Yeah, Zephyr, please translate the Turkish language into English so that we know what you are talking about. Obviously, this is still an English-speaking channel, so yeah, you know, just so we can understand what you are saying. F15, you high, bro, if you think Jake looks 170. I mean, look, on TV and on screens, right, it looks very deceptive of how big somebody is. So F15 says height doesn't matter. He is skinny. Okay, Zafir says, okay, sorry, bro, I will speak English now. Yeah, Hate Love says, speak English, please. We can understand you. Ja says, I want to see Jake Paul versus MMA Guru. Ja, bad matchup for MMA Guru. I mean, honestly, I'm a bad matchup for MMA Guru. MMA Guru should not even be in any conversation of any fights whatsoever, right? Although, if he does start training, he still has a lot of catching up to do. He says, Jake looks big. Truth Seeker says, we need to get Kyrie, the Jake Paul fight next. Nah, man, you know what? I like Jake Paul, man. And then plus, my boy, Eric Trilogy works with him side by side, so you know I don't want to ruffle any of that side. Zafir says my uncle lives in the U.S. Okay, let me know what part of the U.S. Your uncle lives at. Hate Love says I'll pay to see that. Even Jake can't lose that match. Zafir says I want to come to U.S. One day. Drizzy Goat says Tank just needs to work on the body and stop him. Jake will lose to MMA Guru. You think Jake will lose to MMA Guru? Dang. TKO22 says, don't say anything to sell the fight. I won't be surprised if it's fixed for Jake Paul to win, in my opinion. Now, here's the thing, right? A lot of people have a hard time believing that Jake Paul is actually very good. And the reason for that is because when you look at Jake Paul, look, let's be honest, right? Jake Paul is annoying to many people. And anyone who's annoying, you don't want to believe anything that they say. You don't want to believe any good that comes from them. You are skeptical. You are cynical of anything that they do. And this is Jake Paul in a nutshell, and I get it. But the reality is that Jake Paul has all the time in the world. He has all the money in the world when he came into boxing. And what he did as a result of that, he had decided to put all his eggs in one basket and work on the craft to which we see him today as a formidable, possibly world-level boxer. And I know that's hard for a lot of people to grasp, but when it comes to training hard and putting the work in, some things are not impossible. Drizzy Goat says MMA Guru versus MMA Joey. That's actually more of a better fight. I would probably pick MMA Guru on that one, even though I like MMA Joey better. But yeah, Jake doesn't deserve that WWE belt. so I'm going to fight Jake Paul for that belt, huh? Hate Love says, TKO, that's what I thought, but Kyrie told us it's real rules, no Disney BS. Yes, and not just me who told you. This is obviously from the words of Nikisa, who, by the way, I didn't know he got into a fight with Eddie Hearn in the ring during the Amanda Nunes, Amanda Serrano, and the Katie Taylor fight. Right? I didn't know that, but obviously it's on a Netflix series that Eddie Hearn has, and for those of you that are interested yet, check that out. I highly recommend it. So that's going to be my Netflix recommendation of the day, is Eddie Hearn's Matchroom documentary on Netflix. Josh says, bro, I know big out of shape at 50 years old at my gym. That is a bad matchup for MMA Guru. I know okay, so you know a 50-year-old in your gym that is a bad matchup for MMA Guru. Yeah, MMA Guru doesn't train the way that you would think that he does, right? With a name like MMA Guru, right? Let alone boxing. Zafar says Ibu Islam training with Sean Strickland now. Wow, is that right? Okay. Yeah, then that will absolutely improve his striking for sure. So shout out to Ibu Islam for training with Sean Strickland on that one. Jake Paul is good. He's got solid striking. Drizzy Goat says Jake Paul is an average boxer. He says, LOL, my bad. Even Jake can't lose to MMA Guru. Drizzy Goat says, juiced up Turkey. I don't really like him. Okay, Josh says average boxer equals good. Okay, so that's the reference that Eddie Hearn sort of threw at him. Travka says, I don't know what he means by that. FVGFBC. Okay. Good English, Zafar, Poetan says. Okay, so TKO says, Jake Paul, he's no longer a YouTube fighter. He's a pro now. He's been training with good coaches. He's had a decent camp, but I reckon it's fixed, bro. Okay. Zafar says, thanks. Drizzy Goat says, size won't matter. Bet Tank stops him in the later rounds. TKO says, hate love. That's real talk. Josh says, he wouldn't be setting up traps in this fight if it wasn't fixed. Zafar says, poet. Okay, so TKO says, time will tell when we hear ding ding round one. Yes, that is true. That is absolutely true to that. Okay, back to the press conference.
What you bring? Come, when we fighting?
November 14th.
He's stupid as fuck.
He said, he's stupid as fuck. He was like asking, hey, when we fighting again? Yeah, you stupid as fuck.
I got a number of questions for both of you.
What was that?
Before we get into those questions, I want to bring
And by the way, this gets really good. Look at the title of this right here. Look at the title. This part right here. Okay, check out this part. This is how you know this is going to get really interesting. Shout out to Mac Life right there, right? That is Conor McGregor's media team right there. So Yeah, come to Turkey, bro. Inshallah, brother. You know what? Zain Musa Boxing Dosage is in Turkey right now. One of my co-hosts in the live streams that I do, he's in Turkey right now. So shout out to you. Zafar says visit Anatala in Istanbul. Savachi Financial, top of the morning. Shout out to you, my man. Shout out to you. All right, man. So I got some real homies in here right now.
Special guests to give you some of the details.
Zafar says Anatolia have beautiful seas and villas. Oh yeah, man. Turkey is a beautiful country, bro. You know, Turkey is a beautiful country, and you know, especially but expensive. Yes. I'll tell you what else is expensive in Turkey, and it's something a lot of American men will probably go there for. It is what else do you think men go to Turkey for? You know what I mean? What? Hey, Zafar, do you know what people go to Turkey for, right? American Western men in particular, right? What do they go to Turkey for? It's this, to put something on the top of their head, and I'm not talking a kufi. TKO says, what do you think of our Prime Minister, pensioner, Starver, about recognizing Palestine, bro? You know what? I think that, I know that Keir Starmer is a very controversial figure, as most UK prime ministers in the past. Obviously, Tony Blair was very controversial, more so than others because of his stance on the Iraq war. But what you have out of Keir Starmer recognizing Palestine as a state is based on the contingency of his constituents in the UK. You know, TKO, that the UK is dang near a Muslim majority country, right? Meaning that I'm not saying they're the majority. I'm sure there's still a lot of white English Christians and other groups in the UK, but I would say that it is a dominant force in the UK, and I think the influence is what pushed him to that tide, right? So I don't necessarily think that he did it for the love of Palestinian people, although I don't know. That would something that is something that only Allah knows of what is in his heart. But I think more so it is just the overall sentiments, the majority sentiments of most British people, not just Muslims. There's a lot of British people that are pro-Palestinian. There's a lot of Irish people over the years that have been pro-Palestinian. So for him to take that position, I think is more of a political strategy than anything else. Zafar says, but Turkey is not just for hair. Yes. Okay, yes, I know, but a vast majority of American men who have never thought about going to Turkey, usually the reason why they would go there is because of that. British men as well, obviously it's a lot closer to their region than that. TKO says, let me tell you where I stand on this. I say F them. Palestine existed way before our leaders' existence. So I say F them. Only fools will fall for this BS, in my opinion. Okay.
About the fight, and along with Jake, this man has made it his mission, of course MVP's mission, to champion women's boxing, elevate young prospects, and certainly promote some of the biggest events in the sport of boxing.
TKO says, long story short, what a load of bollocks. YD Smoke says PDF. Savachi Financial says, is Jake gonna fight Tank? Laughing my yeah, he is, bro. This is real. And let me show you how real this is. They even had a press conference for it. Okay? Right there. Jake Tank. Jake Tank. When is it? November 14th. November 14th. So they actually got a date going on to fight each other. Yes. So there it is. They're actually going to fight, and you know what? It's going to be under real rules, right? Meaning that it's actually going to go under record. Zafar says Erdogan, the Turkish president, is a supporter of Palestine, but still trading with Israel. Oh man, Thanksgiving fight. The Thanksgiving fight. I think the Thanksgiving fight is Benavidez and Anthony Yard. Right, that's actually going to take place in Saudi Arabia, and that's on the 22nd. This one is on November 14th. The date after this one, there is also Eubank versus Conor Ben Part 2, the rematch. So, yeah, it is sort of in the crosshairs of Thanksgiving. Israel wants to attack Turkey, but is scared. Yeah, man. Turkey has, man, they have some of the baddest military in the world. Sabachi Financial, Thanksgiving in Saudi hosted by Turkey, LOL. The irony of that. I'm going to mark that comment right there, right? Thanksgiving in Saudi hosted by Turkey. You could not make this up, man. Turkey hosting Thanksgiving. That is insane, man. That is insane. Shout outs to Turkey El-Sheikh. By the way, Zafar, since we're in the subject of Turkey, the reason why Erdogan does that is because I think that's just standard for what most people do, right? Obviously, there's a certain political stance that a nation is going to take based on the contingency of their constituents and the people that are surrounding that region and their overall sentiments of being anti-Israel. But at the same time, they also have to trade with Israel as a result of just being part of the international community, right? So Netanyahu says Jerusalem kudos is ours to Erdogan. Sabachi Financial says SH Turkey and Dana cutting a Canelo turkey. Cutting a Canelo turkey. That's hilarious.
Let me bring to the stage and to this podium Most Valuable Promotions co-founder. He's also the CEO, Nikisa Badarian.
Thank you, Brian. It's amazing to be here. This is our third event in 12 months.
He says, LOL, Nikisa. Yes, brother, he is Armenian. This brother is Armenian. Dana hates Nikisa. Yes, I don't know why. Dana White hates me, brother. You know, I'm a good guy. I promote Jake Paul. I bring good fight. You know what? And I used to work for Dana White. I used to work in UFC office, and then they fired me, and so I decide I go and work with Jake Paul. So that's it. Hair Grease says Tank hates his fans. How do you figure he hates his fans? Savachi Financial says Turkey and Dana will eat Nikisa. Yeah, for real. I think he is a target for Dana and Turkey for sure, because they are, you know, natural competitive business rivals at that. But Hair Grease, give me some context on that. Why you say Tank hates his fans?
With Netflix, and we thank them for their partnership. I also want to thank the Florida State Athletic Commission, and also thank the legendary Al Heyman, who, along with myself and Team Davis, has worked to get this event to this point. Tomorrow morning, we will announce multiple world title fights as a part of this card, including a historically relevant co-main. As Brian said, this event has been 4 years in the making, when a fairly novice Jake Paul made a wish list of future opponents, and right in the middle of that list,
Savachi Financial says Eddie Hearn about to become collateral damage. Eddie Hearn ain't gonna get no recognition from Turkey. Zephyr says all of foods are halal. Oh yes, in Turkey, yes, of course, it's a Muslim country. Savachi, check out Eddie Hearn's Netflix series that he has going on, right? Yeah, man, really interesting stuff, right? Really interesting stuff from Eddie Hearn and, you know, and the business side of Matchroom, right? Not only did they cover boxing, but they also cover darts and pool and all these other different sports in Matchroom, right? Very interesting stuff. You got to check it out, especially if you're into business, corporate stuff. You will love it. Hearn about to get wiped off the map. Well, you know what? Turkey wants to buy Matchroom, right? And they talk about that in the Netflix documentary. Savachi says, Effa Eddie Hearn, laughing my ass off. Yeah, Nikisa probably feels the same way.
was Gervonta Tank Davis. Many laughed at the time, and some still can't believe we're here. But these two young men are the face of boxing for Gen Z and Gen Alpha. They are the two biggest boxers in America. and they're putting it all on the line. One has the speed, the skill, the accuracy, and the one-punch knockout power. The other has the size, the force, and the unbreakable confidence to make this must-see Netflix. The size difference is obvious.
Head movement! And by the way, obviously part of the theme of this live stream also is the possible return of Ronda Rousey, but not at the White House, because Ronda Rousey hates Donald Trump and would never fight for Donald Trump in that regard. Zafar says, my favorite fighter is Khabib and Khamzat Chimaev. Mine too, man. Head movement! Head movement! Says, what's that guy's name? Tavermian. I forgot his name. The coach of Edmund. 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 That was his name. Yeah. Dana clapped Rousey. Yeah, he did, right? And that's kind of what Brendan Schaub was hinting at being, what do you call it? What's the word? Eskimo brothers or something like that.
But so is the skill and experience difference.
Thursday Night Football on Prime.
It's on.
Let them know. One man has been doing this for 23 years, since the age of 7.
Boars and the eagle. That's right, man. The wolf and the eagle. Yeah, when she was dating Brendan Schaub. Dang, man. F football. I know, man. You know, I guess they threw commercials, you know, at football there. What the F is a football?
The other picked up the sport 5 years ago and has virtually no amateur experience. So the size difference is what makes this plausible. The king of the jungle here is Tank Davis. He is the lion taking on the young elephant that is Jake Paul. The lion is looking at me like he's about to eat me. The lion is fast, he's fierce, and he's fatal when he strikes. But the young elephant is big, powerful, and hard to knock down. And come Friday, November 14th, the jungle will be set in tropical Miami, Florida, and the world will be watching live on Netflix globally to see who the victor will be. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, there will be a victor, because the fighters have agreed.
Right here, guys. I need you guys to listen to this part right here.
Has approved a maximum weight of 195 pounds for this.
He says, Kirk Gamedov. You're comparing me to Charlie Kirk now?
Exhibition.
Hey, I tell you what, Charlie brought me my highest viewed live stream ever, so, yeah, you know what I mean?
The fight will be contested over 10 3-minute rounds. The fight is 195 pounds, Tank, as you know. The fight will be contested.
Oh, man, so they played Tank, right? They made Tank, so check this out, right? Listen. Check this out. Tank agreed to a fight at 190 pounds, right? He agreed to 190 pounds. They played him. They straight up played him because now it is at 195, right? Just 5 pounds over.
Over 10 3-minute rounds, and when Tank and Jake enter the squared circle to go to battle, they will be wearing 12-ounce gloves. Sitting ringside will be 3 commission-approved world-class professional judges that will score every round to ensure there's a decisive outcome for the fight if it goes the distance.
There it is, a decisive outcome. So for those of you that are saying exhibition, for those of you that are saying this is a fake fight, this is a rigged fight, this is real, and it's going down.
And both men are enrolled.
Head movement, yes. They better have some head movement on this one. But certainly none of them are going to ask Edmund Tavermian to coach them in any kind of way. Queensberry rules. That's right. It is straight Queensberry rules to the max, right? You know, a straight pro fight. So
In the highest level of testing with USADA. So Tank, Jake, Thank you for doing this. Thank you for giving boxing another massive moment, headlined by yourselves, featuring multiple world title fights. But come Friday, November 14th.
Savachi Financial says, where's Tommy Fury at? That's a very good question, Savachi Financial. I wonder this too, right? Even though Tommy Fury got the victory over Jake, it is Jake who goes on to have a better career, right? And this kind of reminds me of Billy Joe Saunders and Chris Eubank, right? Billy Joe Saunders and Chris Eubank had a British domestic rivalry going on, right? Obviously, Billy Joe Saunders went on to fight Canelo. He got the bag from the Canelo fight and, you know, rode off into the sunset, you know, never to be seen again, right? Only, of course, to come and pop back out to check on Chris Eubank's hand wrapping on the day of Eubank versus Conor Benn. So in turn, it was Chris Eubank who had a better career, even though he had lost to Billy Joe Saunders. And Jake Paul, it is him who had a better career, even though he had lost to Tommy Fury. Because who is Tommy Fury right now? Where's Shiraz at? He's in that mix. He's definitely in that mix. Obviously, with a win over Berlanga, they're going to put him right up there in that mix. So, yeah, be sure to look out for Hamza Shiraz because he's probably going to be the guy that's going to fight Canelo next. Because I don't think Canelo wants no smoke of Terrence Crawford anymore, right? But what disappoints me about that is Hamza Shiraz, I believe, fights in the same weight class, right? 168. And what I don't like is that he, as long as Terrence Crawford is champion, he can't win any of those belts unless, of course, Terrence Crawford decides to walk out right now, which is highly likely what's going on. So there's a high likely chance that that is what is going on in that one right there. So, all right, here we go.
Only one of you will have your hand raised and walk away.
We taking over, Khaled voice.
With the W. The question is, will it be a W rendered by 3 judges or a W by stoppage? May the best fighter win. Thank you.
Okay, we got to turn off that one. Win! Win, 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 win.
Guys, let's talk about the fight. That's why people are here. Jake, I'll start with you. You certainly built your career on taking tough challenges. Now you're facing Tank. Probably one of the most explosive punches.
Dana squashed the Jake Paul beef. Yeah, because he's got bigger beef going on right now, and that's with Turki El-Sheikh, right? As I was saying earlier, Dana White has met his match with Turki El-Sheikh. Think about this, right? They're both very much alike. They're both fight promoters. They both have very powerful political figures from their countries backing them up. Obviously, Turki El-Sheikh is backed up by Mohammed bin Salman and the royal family of Saudi Arabia. Dana White is backed by Donald Trump and the whole entire Republican movement, period, right? So they're both powerful people in their own way. Why are turning Why are you turning? I don't understand that question. TKO says Canelo got 2 fights left on his contract, according to Turki El-Sheikh. Turki El-Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed. Okay, is that his full name? Okay. Sabachi Financial says they're beefing. Yeah. Behind the scenes, yes. Pease Diddy says Tank is going to shine. He is great, and it'll be Jake's toughest fight. I still think size matters in this one, right? You've seen what his brother did to Floyd Mayweather, right? Sabachi Financial says Pakistan protects Saudi. Man, there's no denying that. Savachi says, why are Turki and Dana beefing? Oh, okay, that's what you were saying. Yeah, so the reason why they're beefing is because of the Canelo and Crawford fight, right? He wanted to run the show the way that he wanted to. Both alpha male guys, both really high strung, really really demanding, both very demanding personalities. So Dana White didn't want to make an announcement that that Turki El-Sheikh was vehemently eager to tell the world, right? Dana White has an announcement, he says after the presser between Canelo and Crawford. What did Dana White do? He stayed silent, whispered something in his ear, and that is where the whole entire tension started. And then at the night of the fight of Canelo and Crawford, you seen Dana White look like a family member at a picnic to which he has some sort of beef with his family. You ever met guys like that where they didn't like their family and then they go to a family picnic and they just look at everybody in the barbecue grilling everyone like, oh, well, who's here? Look at this guy. What's he here? What's the announcement about? Obviously, Dana White stopped it at its tracks, and that is the reason why we don't know. And then there's beef going on, and I think Dana is sort of mad that Turki leaked a little bit of it and now is creating this curiosity. Or maybe it's just a play between them to where like, hey, Dana, we say we make announcement and then we tease the fans and we'd say nothing. Pease Diddy says, fair point. Sabachi says Jake will use his weight. TKO says Shiraz versus Canelo, good fight. And Zane's massive fan of Shiraz, but is he ready for Canelo? Yeah, he will be absolutely torn apart in that fight. But I don't know. For me, I would obviously go with Hamza Shiraz. He's the Muslim guy. I understand that Zane has made a lot of money over the years betting on Canelo, even though he shouldn't have. Because, you know, I warned him that, you know, obviously boxing, that betting is haram. But still, you know, Hamza Shiraz never let him down. It's his homeboy in real life, right? So, I don't know, man. For me, that would be an easy pick. I'm sure he'll pick Shiraz over Canelo, though. Let's see here. So, Josh says, why does Ronda Rousey look worse than MMA Guru on the pads? Well, the reason for that is because she's a consummate grappler, right? When you grew up grappling and you didn't grow up doing anything else, now people are going to ask, well, you know what? You got pretty good striking and you grew up wrestling. Well, that's also because I grew up doing Taekwondo and I grew up doing boxing in New Jersey. So therefore, it's a little bit of an easier understanding for me to sort of, you know, look better on the pads than somebody who, you know, just did grappling their whole entire life. Look, grappling consists of having a grip and doing a lot of pulling and pushing, right? So this is a different kind of muscle that you are retracting every moment when you are grabbing or when you are pushing versus when you are throwing punches, right? There's a lot of aerobic mechanics to this, right? So if you practice that, then obviously that's what your body's going to get used to. Rousey versus Paul, Khan versus Crawford. Crawford did fight Amir Khan, by the way. I know that we talked about that in private, but yeah, I don't know if you got my my memo on that. Yeah, they did fight before, but a rematch, yeah, I think it would probably even worse because of how good Crawford is now. Intergender championship at the White House. Yeah, only if the liberals were running the White House, I think they would, you know, sanction something like that. I don't think under the Trump regime you will get a fight of that magnitude. TKO says, come on, we got to admit, the Arab guy gave us the fights which we wanted. Fans, so it's obvious the beef comes from territory occupational hazard. Wow. Okay, I'm going to mark that comment right there, TKO. Okay, you brought up something very interesting there. Kamala versus Candice. That's actually a good fight. I'd go with Candice Owens on that one. Kamala versus Newsom. I'm going with Newsom on that one. You know, I mean, what are we even talking about? Like, boom! I run the Democratic Party. I'm the king of the Democrats. Equal rights, equal lefts. All right, anyways. Yeah, so that's a very good point, TKO. Pelosi versus Tucker. Carlson Tucker, man. You go, what's up with these intergender matchups, man? You know what I mean? Like, I would put, how about Sank from the Young Turks versus Tucker Carlson, right? I'd probably go with Sank on that one. But yeah, 30C says, hello, can you give me some women advice? Well, I don't think I'm the guy to, obviously do that. It's not a dating channel, right? I don't know what advice well, okay, you know what? I do have an advice for this, right? And it goes something like this, right? How about be yourself? Because the more that you are yourself, the more that you are going to attract someone that is, well, for you, rather than something that you're trying to be. Sank versus Pierce. Savachi says, promoted by Eddie Hearn. Yeah, Eddie Hearn would absolutely promote that fight, right? Pierce, Morgan, and Sank. That's actually a good matchup. I think I would go with Sank on that one. But then again, you never know, right? Pierce is British by the end of the day. And if there's one thing most British people know how to do, other than kick a ball, is also throw a punch. So, Hate Love says, Ronda, her judo is crazy. She made some WWE wrestlers cry as she was using judo moves. Literally 4 WWE women wrestlers complained. Then they're putting her in a tag team with Shayna Baszler. Savachi says, with DJ Vlad doing the post-fight interview. Wow, yeah, that's quite an interesting production there, right? How about DJ Vlad, doing a post-fight interview, and then you could have Adam in there too, right? Adam 22. Yeah, I don't really watch boxing. This is not my thing, but very exciting to see Sank Uger taking on Pierce Morgan. I think this is going to be a great fight. Yeah, you know what I mean? So. CJ says, do you think it's okay to date during a cooler fall and winter months, then break up and enjoy it? Listen, I'm not the guy to answer that question for you, my man. But shout outs to you on any regard. Savachi says, True Geordie versus MMA Guru. I'm going to go with MMA. I'm sorry, I'm a True Geordie. I'll go with True Geordie on that one.
In the sport of boxing, what do you see as your biggest advantage going into this fight?
Yeah, I would say a lot of things, but
MMA Joey versus Chandler. In boxing, I'd go with Michael Chandler. Hate Love says DJ Vlad, Adam 22 with the F, don't disrespect the UFC. No. DJ Vlad and Adam 22 are hosting a boxing event with Pierce Morgan and Sank is what he was talking about. Savachi is a Turkish word. Yes, that is right. Yes, and you are from Turkey. And Savachi Financial, yes. I know Savachi Financial in real life, guys, just so you know. Like, I actually know him, like, know him like an actual homie of mine. Well, yeah, I don't want to, say too much, but yeah, yes, and yes, it is a Turkish word.
But I think
Kanye versus Cameron. Cameron from Dipset. Yeah, that's a good matchup. I reckon Cameron, he's more of the athletic guy, right? Obviously, Cameron has an athletic background. He used to play basketball. So in comparison to Kanye, yeah, I think that he would, I think that he would have the upper hand in that one.
I think first.
Hate Love says Kanye for the win. Kanye 2028 president-elect. Yeah, that's not going to happen, right? Kanye will never be president because of the occupation that America is under. Jim Jones versus the Game. I'm going to go with the Game on that one. The Game is a big guy, man. He's a big dude. He's like 6'5", man. So, and he's very athletic as well. He also has an athletic background. So, yeah, the Game. I'm going to go with the Game on that one. Little blood on blood action right there, but yeah, I'd go with the Game. Fitness Anonymous, hey man, shout out to you. There's another real life homie of mine right there. Fitness Anonymous, what's up, my man? How are you, my man? Everybody around the world, don't forget to also tap into Fitness Anonymous. By the way, Savachi Financial, go tap into Fitness Anonymous, because trust me, when you see him, you'll recognize everything that you need to recognize. I'm gonna just say it like that, right? So everyone, check out Fitness Anonymous's channel. How are you? How's training? Very good, brother. Very good. Still training hard. Still, causing a terror in you know, and a 24-hour fitness, right? And I live stream it too. So where's the channel? Fitness Anonymous. He's on the chats right now. So trust me, Savachi, you'll know exactly who he is when you see him, when you hear his voice. You'll know exactly. Haha. Remember those days? Yes, man. I still, bro. Here's the thing, right? Till this day, fitness, people still complain about me. People still complain about me in at 24-hour fitness. They still complain about me, but this time they can't do anything because I'm now a Sac State alumni, right? I'm a Sac State alumni, and then on top of that, the people that work at 24 are also Sac State alumni. So every time somebody complains, oh, he's taking up all the weights, you know, this and that, he's got a sled over here, he's got a box jump over here, he's taking up like 5 different weights, taking up spaces or this and that. You know, I got the little jump hurdles. By the way, something that I learned from you, right? You know, till this day, something that I still implement, you know, a lot of box jumps, a lot of explosive plyometric training that a lot of basketball players do. I still, you know, do those, you know, types of training, you know, all thanks to this guy right here. Good job. Yeah. Jack 3D. Oh my God, man. Oh, astaghfirullah. I didn't mean to say, oh my God, but oh my days, man. Jack 3D, bro. That right there, I'm telling you, man, anybody who takes Jack 3D nowadays, you know what I mean? I'm telling you right now, man, you will fail your drug test. Fitness Anonymous says, I was ripped. You still are, man. You still are. You know, I see your training videos, you know what I mean? So the original formula. Jack 3D with a little bit of coffee. Oh my goodness, bro. Listen, man, we tore up. Yo, we tore up that gym, bro. You know what I mean? We tore up that gym. And you know what? In that gym right now, the 24-hour in Fulton, man, that place is an absolute hellhole now, right? I go to the downtown one. Obviously, it's much cleaner. Obviously, you know, it's right next to where, you know, the Kings play. So I see some of the Kings players, you know, train there as well. Also, other NCAA Division I basketball players from Sac State. Sac State right now, right? And this is what you're going to be so proud to be, you know, a Sac State alumni after hearing this, right? Sac State right now has a combat sports program, okay? And that is all because of Uriah. Also, Andre Ward, the boxer from the Bay Area, is a big part of that. Shaquille O'Neal is also a big part of that. Baseball dorks train in Sac, Oakland A's. Oh yeah, that's right. The Oakland A's are now, you know, they're now playing out here, right? They, it's not too far from where I live at. I mean, they're literally like down the street from me. Afternoon says, I wish women's division had a 150 or 160 division for the ladies that wrestle at college or the Olympic level, or even Taekwondo Olympian judokas. Well, here's the thing, right? The reason why they don't have these divisions, I'm going to be honest with you, is because they're just not that good enough. Now, look at Clarissa Shields in boxing, right? If you look at her in boxing, she doesn't have a huge sample pool size of competition, right? And she fights at like 160, 170, which is considered heavyweight at the women's level. So there you have it, right? There isn't a lot of competition for her to deal with. Savachi says they got to be thick or slim. They got to be a thick or slim division. Gabby Garcia, right? The heavyweight women's fighter, right? Not much. There's not really a lot going on there, right? In terms of like having competition for her. Afternoon says the division they have is 115. I think there's a ton of women that wrestle or compete way bigger than 115. Yes.
Is going to just be my reach, my size, being able to keep him away. I think there's a lot of holes in his defense that a lot of people haven't exposed before, and he's a great fighter, one of the best. I'm excited. He's elevated.
Sabachi Financial says the French president's wife is a dude. Man, did you see that video of her slapping him while they were getting off the plane, right? I mean, that was a complete disaster, like a PR disaster for him. Sabachi Financial said he should fight the Algerian boxer.
Elevating me to a new height. He's making me push myself to my limits. I'm more locked in than ever. But at the end of the day, I know I'm going to be able to come out on top and outbox the guy who's been doing it for 7 times as long as me.
Obviously, toughest test that you faced to this point. You beat an undefeated world champion. Is this the fight where folks, especially in the boxing community, have to say, Jake Paul deserves to be at the elite level?
No, they'll never give me credit until I have the world championship belt, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. You know, but belts collect dust, and what I've done in the sport is unprecedented. Never will be replicated, and done it in such a short amount of time. Just getting...
Sabachi Financial says he should do power slap Turki versus Eddie Hearn. Yeah, I'd reckon I'd give that one to Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn's a big dude, bro. Eddie Hearn is like 6'5" and, you know, has some weight on him. Afternoon says tired of the Paul fights. They're either seniors or fighting people 100 pounds smaller. Well, probably smart of him to do so. Hate Love says, nah, if Jake allowed to fight a senior citizen, Tyson, then women should be to do the same. Oh, okay, equal rights, equal lefts. Right, so
warmed up. They're not going to give me credit, but I don't need the credit from these bozos, to be honest. The credit's in my bank account.
Tank, I'll start with you. I guess a number of people will say, why Jake Paul?
By the way, shout out to Tank Davis. He is now a fellow Muslim brother, you know, by the name of Abdul. So shout out to him on that one.
As opposed to a rematch with Lamont Roach.
It just, you know, I don't want to put a lot out there, but it just, you know, doing what's best for me and what's right for me. And I've been doing this for a little minute now. You know, I've been doing it since I was 7 years old. You know.
Drizzy Goat says Tank is a killer to this day. What happened to him? You're talking about Deontay Wilder? Yeah, I think they're trying to set him up for a fight with Francis Ngannou in the boxing ring.
So this is the first camp I can, like, you know, enjoy myself, be back myself, like, even leading up to, like, the...
Hate Love says, Drizzy, I really want to see Tank go all out. He finished Jake 2 rounds max, Islam style.
The rematch of the Roach fight.
Never sue the other driver after a car accident. There's a better way to get paid a way bigger check without having to go to court.
It was more so like...
Usyk versus Putin in a power slap. Oh man, these matchups you guys are making.
I don't want to get too much in it, but November the 14th, you got Jake Paul and me. I think it's going to be a great event. Every time I fight is fireworks. Jake Paul coming in, you know, he's much bigger, he's much stronger. Boxing wins come November the 14th. You know, it's not just me and Jake on a fight. It's a whole card, and we're just giving boxing what it needs, and that's excitement.
He certainly has the size, stronger guy. What specifically does Jake Paul have that concerns you?
What concerns me, his power. Gotta test his power. Gotta test his just everything. To be honest, I never been in the ring with Jake, so I could say a lot. But when it comes down to November the 14th, you know, I gotta be in there with him. I gotta be able to, you know, his arm.
Sabachi says Charlie Kirk versus Neon MMA 5 rounds. Neon. Is that the streamer you're talking about?
His size, his power, you know, the way he move and things like that. I just gotta adapt, you know, as I fight him come November the 14th.
One of the things, Jake, about you, mental toughness. And you've certainly used that mental toughness with a number of your opponents and have rattled them before the fight. This guy's certainly experienced. You think you can rattle?
Drizzy Goat says, no more debates of Kirky boy. Well, Drizzy, I gotta tell you what, man. Just expect that he's gonna dominate the internet. His name is gonna dominate the internet for quite some time, whether it's positive or negative about him, yeah. Savachi says, I thought Kamaru Usman had Canelo hands. I think that's the joke on that was from Bilal Muhammad, I believe. I think it is Bilal Muhammad who says that he has Canelo hands.
Gervonta Davis, before y'all step into the ring?
Yeah, no, I don't know. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. This is going to be a true-on boxing fight. The best man will win, and, you know, I think the shit talk is all fun, and we've been going at it for years and years, but I don't think either one of us really care. We just want to go in there and prove that we're better than the other one.
You've talked to a lot about leaving a lasting legacy in the sport of boxing. You beat Tank Davis. Do you believe you've basically cemented yourself as one of the best in the sport?
Nah, not yet. I'm just getting warmed up, but this will certainly shut up a lot more people. Each fight has done that so far. Only 5 years as a pro, and it feels like the last fight I had was the end of chapter 1. This is the beginning of chapter 2, and I'm only 28 years old. I have a lot more to prove, and once I beat this guy, more people will shut up, but at the end of the day, I'm really still just getting warmed up in the sport, and I'm going to show how good I am. You know, this is a top 10 pound-for-pound fighter that I'm going to outbox, and truly when people run
all right, so that's interesting, right? Jake Paul is planning to outbox Gervonta Davis.
This press conference, all the shit talk, all the fun, they're going to be like, wow, this kid really is doing something monumental.
But at the same time, a lot of people will not be surprised because, let's be honest, right? The size here absolutely matters, right? Somali Pirates versus WrestleMania. WrestleMania.
On the sport, and he's actually an insane boxer, and I'm going to show that this guy who's been doing it his whole life has been doing it wrong his whole life.
What'd you say, Tank?
He said he gonna outbox me. Whoop-de-doo. Say that.
The one thing, when you have a fight of this magnitude, especially with Jake...
You know, Tank looks very uninterested in this whole entire process. Do you guys get that feeling? It is as if, like, he obviously wants to be there because it's a fight and he's going to get the bag, but at the same time, I don't know, man, maybe it's just part of his personality, right? Where he does tend to feel or get a little bit reserved sometimes, but yeah.
Jake, because his appeal has been global.
So Savachi Financial says Tank needs money. That is true. That is one of the reasons why this fight is happening, right? Obviously, there's that domestic case that Gervonta Davis has going on. There's a lot of his product going down as a result of these mishaps that he's had outside of the ring, right? So it's going to devalue his brand. But fighting Jake Paul, believe it or not, is going to elevate that. So it's more than just money. Yes, Jake Paul is a big money fight, especially if you're a big money man yourself, which is Tank Davis, right? He's a name in and of itself, but you add Jake Paul into it, it's a big bag. And not only that, it hides a lot of the PR disasters that he has going on. But like Jake Paul fashion, any situation that you get in with your life, he's going to use that against you. Hate Love says Israeli military versus Jake Paul actually gets a clean win. Only 4 people in the Israeli army. Paul is a red panty knight. Yes, he is. That's exactly what it is. Yes.
For you, Tank, Do you think this is one of those fights where now all of a sudden you can show your boxing skills on a global scale to maybe people who weren't interested in boxing? All of a sudden they say, well, who is this guy?
Yeah, it's actually like, you know, now that I'm looking at it now, it's just like, I don't know, probably this was a good thing, you know, by just, you know, us fighting. Because you have someone that we come from two...
MMA Joey versus Ariel. I'll give that one to MMA Joey. I think MMA Joey will take that. If it's MMA, I think MMA Joey is going to get on top of him, start grounding, pounding him, and I could picture Ariel Helwani making these squeamish little sounds like, stop it, nah, like those little sounds that he makes. Heat Love says shadow boxing at its finest. Yes. Yes, Ariel versus Jolani. Jolani, the Syrian president, oh man, hands down, I'm giving that to Jolani.
Different sides, like other world. We come from, you know, and we still on the same path to get the same thing, you know? So I think it's good. You know, my headspace that I'm in now is way better than where I was before, and that's the only thing that mattered to me.
Meaning that a lot of the distractions he's had going on with, let's say, the domestic issues and whatnot are sort of, you know, dissipating from his life, and now coming in focused and ready to box whoever. But in this particular case, it's Jake Paul that he's boxing for something that feels worthless, but at the same time worth more than what he would make in any given boxing, you know, in any given boxing scenarios.
Again, this fight gonna be exciting. I feel as though it's gonna be it's gonna do a lot of numbers. Again, we two guys from different worlds that's still on the same that one goal, and that's to make sure our family, our kids, and everything is okay.
By the end of the day, that's what it's really about, right? Aside from the circus, aside from the fiasco, aside from all the banter and all the trash talk that goes on, right? This is what it's really about right here, what Tank just mentioned, right? They do all of this for their family and for generational wealth and also financial freedom. So that's really what it comes down to by the end of the day.
So, shout out to Jake Paul for, you know.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
Coming with me and making this event happen. And
Kirk's wife versus Rousey. Oh, come on now, man. You're really trying to get her beat up. Listen, regardless of what you think about Ronda Rousey, okay, she will absolutely decimate an average woman, right? And yeah, Erica is everything that embodies the average woman. So
his team and what is MP Promotions, Netflix.
Watch Jake Paul right here make fun of Tank Davis saying that he can't read. Watch this.
Al Heyman, everybody.
Turns out he can't read, just like Floyd.
Oh, MVP. MP.
You got it, champ.
I'm not worried about that.
You got it, champ.
People talk.
Savachi says Kirk's got no head movement. Oh man, I just got what you said right now, man. That's vicious, bro. That's some vicious thing to say right there.
It's cool.
How is training for something like this? Obviously, smaller guy. How is this in the training aspect, Jake?
Yeah, just a lot of punching down, practicing, hitting below my knees, and a lot of speed.
He warming up.
We're sparring.
That's what we need.
We're sparring.
Warm up.
Some 8-year-olds. I got 8-year-olds in there.
If I find out anything,
Hate Love says his wife sure does. Dang.
I'm gonna beat your ass and I'm gonna beat Jaden Love ass. On my mom, I'm gonna beat both your ass.
For those of you that don't know who Jalen Love is, he is the training partner of Jake Paul, who was also a PBC fighter at the time, has also had a fight with David Benavidez. Savachi Financial says head movement got a whole new meaning now. Dang, bro. Hate Love says, haha, I had to. You set it up, bro. There it is, man. He set it up, and you went for the alley-oop slam dunk.
On my mama. And he laughing. He know. He laughing.
What are you talking about?
What
does he have to do with this?
Let anything, you know what I'm talking about. Let anything. No, I don't have to say it right now. Don't worry about it. I don't got to say it up here. Let anything happen. And I'm going to show you and...
White America! I could be one of your kids. White America! Little Eric looks just like this.
Damn. Bet.
It begs the question, Tank.
Nothing.
It begs the question, Tank. How was your training for him? I mean, now you're fighting a bigger guy, obviously. This is like cruiserweight. How is that training for this? And you know everyone wants to know, yo, you taking this 100% serious. Because he's coming to really hurt you.
Hate Love says it's White America with 3 Ks. Dang.
You'll make a statement. Are you taking this 100% serious? And how's the training for someone of this size?
Of course. You know, somebody like his size and things like that, we got to take him serious because we don't want to say it, but, you know, things can go sideways, so we ain't taking him lightly. We definitely looking at Jake Paul as a real fighter. I watch him when I'm training, when I'm...
Savachi Financial says Will Smith declined the role of Neo in The Matrix and did Wild Wild West instead because he didn't understand The Matrix. Fun fact. Wow. Well, there it is, right? He definitely did not understand The Matrix, and it shows in his blue pill mentality of the world.
From the gym, and, you know, we're not taking it lightly. You know, again, it's going to be good for the sport. I'm just glad to be here, you know.
Jake, how you win this fight?
Just showing up. Honestly, I'm gonna knock him out. You know, he has a lot of flaws in his defense, and I'm gonna expose him. You know, look what a 135 Lamont Roach did to him, and it's just gonna be so much fun for me. I'm so glad that God gave me this moment. I'm Gervonta Tank Davis's karmic retribution.
There we go. He's saying that he's his karmatic retribution. I wonder what he means by that. Maybe he elaborates on it a little bit.
I'm curious, Tank, when you walk into the ring, how much you think you'll weigh?
When I walk in the ring?
Yeah.
With or without the ankle monitor on?
That's corny. That's super corny.
Yeah, the crowd went, whoa, after he said, yeah, are you going to weigh in with the ankle monitor? And then the crowd goes, whoa, oh my goodness. Tyron Woodley versus Jalen Love. You know what? That would be a good matchup. But, you know, Jalen Love obviously is a seasoned pro boxer. And, yeah, that would be interesting to see how Tyron Woodley gets on with that, right? But I also can't imagine Jalen Love would decide to go into a cage with Tyron Woodley because obviously he would just out-wrestle him the whole entire time. But in a boxing ring, still is equally of an interesting matchup, although I would have to side with Jalen Love on that one. Who versus who? Yeah, Tyron Woodley. TKO says, mate, we're all protective over our mothers. So when someone says, I swear on my mama, I'll take that as a warning shot. Okay. Okay, yeah, very, very interesting take, yeah.
I don't know how much I weigh.
And the handcuffs, too.
Huh? What are you talking about, fam?
How do you win this fight?
That outfit is trash. For real.
He said the outfit is trash. Let's see. Let's rate Jake Paul's outfit here.
That outfit is garbage. And that hairstyle. Anybody that ever rocked a mohawk is a fucking clown. We all know this. Anybody rocked a mohawk. Name
You want to see clowns? You want to see clowns? Gervonta, you're the fucking clown, buddy. You're the fucking clown, Gervonta. Any man who puts his hands on a woman is the clown. I got got you a poodle.
Okay. Now, since we on this, if I put my hands on females or anything like that, right? If I put my hands on females or anything like that, you know what I mean? Female, like, come on. It will be mad. You see how when I don't even want to bring up nobody thing and what's the name about that? But P Diddy, when things got like that, no, listen. When one female did.
He says, what the F is he wearing a jacket? Jake's the woman rights advocate. Yeah, he is, right? It's like, it's the only thing that he can, I mean, look, low-hanging fruit. That is the name of the game for Jake Paul, right? Hate Love says, Jake, bring out the clapping monkeys again. You know what, that's the thing, right? Yeah, let's hear what Tank has to say here. This is interesting.
It was mad females coming out, right? So if I hit a female, right, wouldn't it be mad other females? Like I ain't been just with one female. Like I'm 30 years old. Like let's be real. I've been with more than one female. Wouldn't mad females come out and say something about me hitting them? No.
Okay.
No?
I'm sure there are members of the media who are here who have questions for you guys. We have mics right there in the middle. All we ask is that you come to that mic. Make sure.
Savachi says, Tank don't got entertainment personality. No, not at all. Not at all, right? Not the way that Floyd did, right? Floyd was very good on the mic. Even Adrian Broner, was, absolutely amazing on the mic. Gervonta Davis is not that kind of guy, right? Particularly because, and I've seen this a lot with wrestlers over the years, right? A lot of wrestlers grew up doing nothing but wrestling. So therefore, their personality is not going to really be all that entertaining. Whereas Jake Paul, he was a Disney kid. He was a YouTuber. On top of that, he was a streamer. So he has the personality to go along with a boxing skill that he has already developed. But the question is, will the experience of Tank Davis trump over the lack of experience that Jake Paul has? Only time will tell.
Sure, you introduce yourself and ask your question to the fighter.
Oliver Salt for Daily Mail. Gervonta, a lot of boxing fans aren't happy with the fact you've taken this fight rather than the road rematch, fights with the likes of Shakur, Devin Haney, Teofimo, etc. What do you make of that reaction? And can we still expect to see those fights?
Why should I care what they think? When y'all switch somebody can have a bad day and y'all switching on who y'all favorite.
That's a very good point on Tank Davis right there, right? Why should I care what all of you think that I'm fighting a non-boxer or somebody that's not within my competitive architecture, right? Why should I care? One bad performance that you have, all of a sudden the world turns on you, right? So he's completely right about that.
Fighter is or who this person is supposed to fight. Like y'all need to sit back and be fans and just enjoy the sport. Like y'all even talk about people's personal lives. Like why when it come to that?
Tank says, oh, well, you guys do nothing but talk about people's personal lives. Well, that's true. But that's kind of what MMA content creators and journalists have to do. They have to talk about these things as a result of trying to garner a certain, level of attention to their product, their content. And quite frankly, this is sort of the reasons why I have a certain theme to my channel, right? It's not just fighting that people are interested in. It is also the things that go beyond fighting and outside of fighting that they care about. Savachi says Diaz brothers versus Kirk.
Can we still expect to see any of those fights?
Hate Love says one of the Diaz brothers would whoop the entire Kirk family.
In the future, though.
And y'all keep talking about fighting somebody. Didn't he just have a fight? And what happened? What happened? He won, right? But how you look in it? Exactly. But y'all say some different shit when it's me, right? Because y'all want me to lose. When y'all see people in that limelight too long, they want to take that they want somebody else to.
That's facts. Yo, listen. Tank is speaking some facts right here, right? When somebody is in the limelight for too long, y'all want to see that person fail. That's really all there is to it. Savachi says, Candace versus Michelle Obama. That's actually a good fight. I'd pick Candace on that one.
Come take that spot. That's why it's always like, come on, bro. That's what happened with Floyd. Y'all seen him too much, and once y'all seen him so much, y'all start hating on it. Like, it turned from love to hate. You know?
Next question.
Well, to be honest, it's also because Floyd was a great agitator. So that's one part of it as well. Says, oh, I think Kamala will win that. House rules.
How you doing, Tank? Jake MacArthur from Casual Corner. Tank, are you going to be retiring? If not, who could we see you fight next year?
Right now, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just, doing me right now.
Candace versus Clarissa Shields. I mean, Clarissa by first round knockout.
And for Jake, is Canelo still on your list after the loss?
Yeah, 100%. You know, that's another one of the biggest fights that can be made in boxing. And after I beat this guy, Canelo's on the list for sure.
It's Kevin Garcia, aka the Puerto Rican Kid KG, and my first question is for Tank. Tank, so obviously, you know, you're fighting Jake, and this is the fight that's in front of you. That's what you focused on now. But I gotta ask you, he's a bigger dude. You acknowledge that. He's stronger. He's got the...
Weili Zhang. I'm going with that one, man. Y'all putting her in fights already. She just, went through a tragedy, and you're already trying to match her up with some fights, man.
Size advantage. Let's say he would have knocked you out. Do you think that impacts your legacy, or even lose? Just a loss to Jake Paul. What kind of impact do you think that has on your legacy?
I'm not really, I'm not sure. I'm not really big on it. I don't really, care at this moment.
So you're not concerned that a loss to Jake Paul would mean anything to you at all? It doesn't stop anything?
Why should I?
Gotcha.
He gonna still have his poodle after the loss.
My follow-up question is for you, Jake. Jake, look, in the Mike Tyson fight, fans debate whether you were pulling back a little bit or whatever the case might have been with the outcome to it. In this fight, is it your intention to make up for that a little bit? Do you want to knock?
She was a Trump pageant hoe. Shields not even a Q, bro.
Tank out, and is it a little bit about making up for maybe not doing that against Tyson?
Yeah, 100%. I haven't gotten a knockout in a long time, so I'm itching. It's been a...
Prince Vandro says Davis is out of prison already. How long did he get? He didn't really spend that much time, right? In cases like that, what usually happens is they get locked up, but then it is up to the alleged victim to press charges or not, and obviously that was not the case. She probably got turned out by Prince Andrew and Epstein Island. Dang, man. All right, so with that in mind, that is all that I have for this right now. If you guys want to see the rest of this press conference, obviously check it out. But let's do a little recap on what we had talked about before I leave you guys. Okay, so we talked about Dana White's beef with Turki El-Sheikh. We talked about it all throughout the stream. Two alpha males, two guys with different visions, different ideas. One guy likes stadium fights. The other guy could care less for it. The other guy likes process and structure in Dana White. And whereas Turki El-Sheikh likes spontaneous, spontaneous announcements, spontaneous actions, and things of that nature. But overall, we saw that unfold in the Terrence Crawford fight. Also, Ronda Rousey planning on an MMA return. It's not going to be at the White House because I explained to you guys her political stance against Donald Trump. Also, how about this? We didn't really talk much about this. Charlie Kirk was shot from behind, right? Now, what do we have on this particular subject is that a lot of people are speculating the way that the bullet had came, the way that it did not exit, and the way that it had came from behind, or allegedly saying that there were other shooters. I mean, Just some crazy stuff. So before I go, let me read some of these comments right here. Prince says, is he going to fight Jake? Yes, he is. That's at a press conference that we just talked about. Josh says, Savachi, go buy some gold, bro. Savachi says, Prince Andrew versus Trump on Epstein Island. I'm probably going to go with Prince Andrew on that one. Ja says, Savachi, go buy the Sogo Shoha 5 companies. Head movement. Savachi Financial says, that was the Israeli Matrix hit. All right, well, there you have it, guys. So that is all that I have for this one right now, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I will see you in the next one. And check out the new video that I have right now regarding the arrest of Roger Jackson. Prince Evandros says, that's weird because you can see the autopsy photos. The entrance was from the front, but not the exit wound. There you go. And with that in mind, like and subscribe. See you in the next one. Check out my new and latest videos that I have right now with Roger Jackson finally getting arrested. Did Psycho Stu snitch? Find out on that video and like and subscribe. Join my members only content, and I'll see you in the next one. Share my content around the world, inshallah.